As we learn more about how autism can look in children, we become better at identifying when a child might need a diagnosis. This is especially important for girls and children of color, who have been historically excluded from medical research on autism. Autism is classified as a developmental disorder. This means that the signs of autism appear in childhood, often when children fail to meet certain developmental milestones. The following photographs represent how I view the world as an autistic photographer. You may notice that I view the world the same way you do. My world is just as beautiful, just as complex, and just as important as the view of someone without a developmental disability. In the psychological evaluation given to me at the time of my autism diagnosis, I scored in the upper percentile of verbal skills based on comparisons to other adults my age. On a bell curve, my verbal skills placed me to the far right. My visual spatial skills scored much lower. They were marked on the far left of the bell curve, indicating a severe deficit in the area. The neuropsychologist explained to me that autism is often diagnosed based on the extreme differences in skill strengths and deficits. Another autistic person may have excellent visual spatial skills, but struggle with verbal communication. A neurotypical person would likely find both their verbal and visual spatial skills measured somewhere in the middle of the bell curve. Our individual perceptions, molded by our memories and experiences, shape the way we react and respond to artwork. As social beings, we also share our perceptions and debate them with others. Autism is no stranger to this debate. Thought leaders like Donald Trump and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. contribute to the ever-changing public perception of autism and other developmental disorders. Trump's earliest notable statements about autism began in the early 2000s, when he expressed public concern about childhood vaccines, critiquing the amount and timing of immunizations. In interviews and on social media, Trump claimed that children were being pumped with massive shots of mini vaccines, and he speculated that this could be contributing to rising autism rates. These views continued into his 2016 presidential campaign and during his presidencies, despite repeated reassurances from the scientific and medical communities that no credible link exists between vaccines and autism. Donald Trump repeatedly refers to autism as an epidemic, expressing concern about the perceived rise in autism diagnoses over the years. In a 2017 meeting with educators, he said, "When you look at the tremendous increase in autism, it's really a horrible thing to watch." In his 2025 remarks to Congress, he claimed, "Not long ago, 1 in 10,000 children had autism, and now it's 1 in 36. There's something wrong." He made similar comments in recent interviews and speeches, often calling the situation unacceptable and suggesting we're going through some very serious trouble. These comments frame autism as a public health crisis, despite experts noting that increased diagnoses reflect better awareness and broader diagnostic criteria, not necessarily a true epidemic. Let's talk about medical data. Let's say a doctor diagnoses you with an illness and tells you the illness has a death rate of 1 in 10. That sounds really scary, but a death rate of 1 in 10 is equal to a survival rate of 90%. The difference lies in the way the numbers are presented. The CDC Data and Statistics on Autism website claims that as of 2022, 1 in 31 children have been diagnosed with autism. This is 3.2% of children in the US, a 2.5% increase from the rate of 0.67% or 1 in 150 children in 2000. Trump's statements imply blame toward parents for their child's diagnosis. His comments revive long-standing and harmful narratives about parental responsibility and autism, rather than focusing on meaningful support, services, and inclusion. The increase in autism testing and accessible treatment in recent years explains the rising rates of autism diagnoses. For me and many other autistic people, increases in autism diagnoses reflect a positive trend toward recognition of neurodiversity in scenarios where it was previously unrecognized. For example, I was not diagnosed with autism until I was 22. If more testing had been available and doctors had been as aware of the disorder as they are now, I likely would have been diagnosed at a much younger age. This would have opened up doors for potential treatment and support services I never got access to. The misinformation spread by politicians frames autism as a terrible disease that is harming children and spreading rapidly. While living with autism in a world structured for neurotypical people can be exhausting and challenging, it's not a death sentence. Pushing toward increased representation of positive autistic experiences encourages positive public perception and emphasizes the inherent human value of people with autism. We are not sick, we are not unworthy of respect, and autism is not the monster politicians make it out to be. So why put together all this footage just to disagree with some politicians? John Berger's ways of seeing describes seeing as an initial choice to bring something into our view. He writes, "We never look at just one thing. We are always looking at the relation between things and ourselves. Our vision is continually active, continually moving, continually holding things in a circle around itself, constituting what is present to us as we are." Creating this video combines scientific research with visual art. As a photographer and a writer, I want to use my work to expand the public's understanding of autism and conceptions of autistic people. Writer Siri Husvet's essay Embodied Visions examines the biological processes that contribute to the human perception of artwork. Husvet describes art as implicitly dialogical, meaning a constant conversation between artist and viewer. She uses the concept of mirror neurons to illustrate how we react to a work of art, which is similarly to the way we react to the faces of those around us. The perception of images occurs milliseconds after the initial viewing of an image, and is unconsciously influenced by our memories. According to Husvet, when we view a work of art, we connect to the artist's process of labor and creativity we perceive in the work. We cannot consciously control our perceptions of a work, but it is a more complex process than only seeing a work of art. The two processes cannot be separated. To glean meaning from a piece, we must first see it and then perceive it. Berger writes, "In the end, the art of the past is being mystified because a privileged minority is striving to invent a history which can retroactively justify the role of the ruling classes." Art theorist Ariella Azoulay describes a photograph as evidence of social relations at the time of its capture. Her proposal of a civil contract in photography suggests that images belong largely to the public, not the photographer or the photographed. Even if a primarily abstract, conceptual visual work of art is mostly understood by the high art community at its conception, its context begins to fade the moment it is created. This means that the group of people who understand and appreciate the work for its concept and its meaning will only shrink as time passes, and the work moves further into the public domain. For this reason, I present this video in its full context with several references to scientific research and art theory. I purposefully refuse the artistic practice of making the viewer work or rely on previous knowledge to understand the artwork. Considering art as a form of social action can break down barriers of obscurity that restrict discourse about taboo topics. Artworks and institutions like museums and universities have a high capacity for influencing the community in which they are displayed. In these spaces, primarily informational content can serve as a method of unification, a demonstration of power, and a call to action. My artistic work often specifically features neurodiverse subjects, but informational artwork can serve as a tool to empower any social group or demographic. This is particularly important for the oppressed and marginalized, as they have been traditionally excluded from the art world. So the question shouldn't be, why are autism rates rising? The question should be, how can we make the world a better place for autistic people to live?